I guess I just see it kind of like when democracy goes bad. Okay, it's like in some schools in America. All right, the children, the pupils, those who are there to receive the education, get their democratic right listened to when they shouldn't. All right, they're given the democratic right to be able to make a decision as to whether they are taught, let's say, evolution or creationism. This is obviously a massive right, balls up. That's a nautical term, by the way. Because if you are a young person, you do have to be kept in line to a certain extent. I mean, essentially, if you get children to tell you what is true, and therefore you have to teach that to everybody else, that's the wrong way of doing things. And the teachers themselves need to be in a good, grounded, scientific state. I mean, if you went into a religious education class, fine, you need to discuss different points of view and direct people towards a more evolved and developed understanding of the complexity and diversity of spiritual points of view so that you can develop, acceptance, tolerance, understanding, something, truly, liberal or all embracing. And also the political spectrum and how that affects the religious dynamic and all the rest of that stuff. But essentially, what the fuck is the point in having the pupils educating the teachers into what interpretations of truth the pupils should hear about? Now, applying that to all of the wonderful world of the weird in which I have been inhabiting for a substantial period of time, things get a bit complex. Because any person who has, like, a grounded intelligence in thinking would be able to turn around to you and say that there are things that we don't know. There are answers that we cannot give because we do not have them. But then there are people who request and demand answers. And not only do they request and demand answers, they request and demand the answers that they want people to give them. Such as, I had this strange experience. Was it aliens probing me up the backside? No, actually, you just happened to have a really, really bad dream when you had a bad dose of constipation and you happened to be having a fever at the time. Or whatever. Was it a demon that did this? Was it an angel that did this? Was it a ghost? Or I get people coming to me, more or less, telling me that they want me to interpret or to explain a particular experience within certain frames of reference which resonates well with what they think. But if you're having a conversation with someone, you're having a conversation with a person who has a different point of view. So the first thing that you should be doing is to accept the fact that your point of view will probably be disagreed with. Or there will be another take upon the same experience which needs to be expressed. And this is especially true in the theological, religious, spiritual, occult, stroke, pagan, new age world, or should be. Now, when I had my big disagreements with the Wiccan community, years back now, okay, people carried on saying things like, well, it's just the group think that's making this, that, and the other, come out so much. And just the group think. Well, where does the group think come from? Okay, and I'm not talking about the Wiccan community. I'm not talking about the pagan community. I'm talking about people. Okay, where does people's groupthink come from? Does it come from above or does it come from below? And if it comes from below, is it coming out of wishful thinking or a basic explanation or basic understanding of the way that people want things to be? I mean, where do a lot of the conservative fundamentalist values come from? Hmm? Is that top down or is that bottom up? Or is that from, let's say, the occasional particular pundit who happens to have a big audience? It then goes into the consciousness of those within the audience who then spread it. So that the meme that was created by, let's say, one particular major massive pundit then gets spread the way that memes get spread. Either way, okay, if God is one big massive being and we are all brain cells in his head, then God is probably thinking an awful lot of bollocks right now. Yeah, this is proof positive, empirical, that, if we are all the brain cells in the head of God, God is thinking a lot of bollocks right now.